Your self-esteem, your self-image, whatever you want to call it, sucks. But that's a good thing because you know that's a problem that you have. And we're going to be solving that today. But before that, I want to kind of get this into your head how significant it is that you are here right now, right? Not only do you know you have this problem, but you also want to fix it, right? Most people, they want to say sorry, but you want to improve yourself. You want to better yourself. So I think that you should give yourself some props. You should respect yourself for even going out this far. This isn't insignificant. This is actually probably one of the biggest leaps you can take. So now to the point of the video, how do we actually get your self-esteem to a healthy level? I'm gonna start off by just looking at some statements and we'll move on from there. So like I said over there, we're gonna be looking at some example statements of kind of things that people say, and we'll identify them as having high self-esteem or low self-esteem. And we're gonna start off with the low self-esteem. I'm just gonna look off the list because I'm not memorizing these. Something like, I think I'll mess this up. I'm probably wrong about this. I'm not worth this. These are all statements that are like, I guess, indicators that you have low self-esteem. Right? And what do these all signify? For the first one, I think I'll mess this up. It's over the top self-doubt, right? Thinking already before you even start something that you're probably going to mess it up. And with the second one, I'm probably wrong about this. When you have the belief, like before you even started something, that you're going to be wrong or you're going to fail, that's a sign that you have low, self-esteem. The third statement, which is I'm not worth this, is a showing of a lack of self-worth, right? And I think that's incorporated into self-esteem. Someone with high self-esteem isn't saying, oh, I don't deserve any of this. Nothing good should come to me. I'm not really worth that much. They're not saying, I'm probably wrong about this. They might say, I may be wrong about this, and we'll look at that in a second. But they're not saying these statements that show they have a lack of self-worth and a lack of, I guess, trust in themselves. Now, some statements I do think a high esteem person or high self-esteem person, it's like, there's so many words to say, is something like, I think I can do this. I may be wrong. Not saying that you're guaranteed to be correct because like high self-esteem, there's so many words. Okay, high self-esteem people still can be like, I may be wrong, but they're not going out there saying I'm probably wrong. Another statement somebody with high self-esteem can make is I have worth, right? They understand that they are not worthless. And I guess you could summarize self-esteem or a healthy level of self-esteem as having trust in yourself and believing that you are worth something, right? People with low self-esteem, typically, they don't trust themselves. They think that they might fail before they even start. They might not see that themselves as worth of much. And people with high self-esteem, at least from like my personal perspective, it's like anecdotal. They typically believe in themselves. They think they can do things. And they have some sort of self-worth. They think they are worth something. And that's why they can do more things. Now we know what both of these look like. So low self-esteem person, high self-esteem person, kind of the words that they say. But how do we actually get better self-esteem? When I summarize good self-esteem, I talked mainly about trust and about self-worth, right? So if we want to get these things, we just have to do things that make us trust ourselves and make us feel as if we are worth something, right? And for a lot of things in self-improvement, those are usually in small actions that compound over time. So if you do something that makes you trust yourself just a little bit more, if you do that for a long time, that is going to build up into you trusting yourself a lot. Like for instance, you can give yourself a task that's like somewhat easy, but if you just keep doing that, you will gain more and more trust for yourself. If you show yourself slowly but surely that you can do things, that you are somewhat capable, then I think it's kind of like a positive spiral, right? When you have bad self-esteem, it goes like this, right? You go here, I don't think I can do this, doesn't do it, and then you'll be like, okay, I didn't do that, so I don't think I can do this, and you don't do that. It's a negative, I guess, feedback loop. I don't know if I'm using that term correctly, but with good self-esteem, with healthy self-esteem, high self-esteem, what you do is the opposite kind. So you'll think, okay, I think I could do this, and then if you do it, I think I can do that. You see what I'm saying? They kind of like, the higher you go, the higher you can be. The lower you go, the lower you can get. So that's why it's kind of dangerous to have low self-esteem, because it's kind of like a downward spiral. So give yourself some tasks, something easy, just like maybe learn how to play the basics of chess or learn the first step to solving Rubik's Cube. Something very easy, right? And if you do that, you can show yourself, oh, I actually can do some things. You're not going to immediately believe, oh, I can make a spaceship to go to Mars or whatever, right? You're not going to have that level of self-belief and trust, but you'll get there eventually. In the beginning of this video, I was talking about how the fact that you're here, you should give yourself some respect for that. And I think that's something you can do, or something you can say gives you a reason to have trust in yourself. I am here. I'm showing up for myself, which means I can do these things. I think if you use that, the fact that I'm even like trying to become better, the fact that I'm even trying to get my self-esteem higher shows that I can be trusted. I can trust myself to make better decisions. Pretty much trust yourself for the fact that you're here right now watching a video on how to have higher self-esteem, and then do the actions, do some tasks that will allow you to trust yourself even more. because you can't just trust yourself blindly, right? If there's nothing to follow, if there's nothing to look at for trust, you're not going to trust yourself. So do the actions plus believe it to begin with. And speaking of believing things, right? Something else that with general self-improvement, delusion, and I'll explain what I mean by that, is pretty nice to have, right? So I'm not saying delusion is in, okay, I'm going to grow some wings and I'm going to jump off this building, I'm going to fly off, right? I'm not saying that type of delusion. I'm saying making yourself believe positive things, right? Even if they're not necessarily true right now. So making yourself believe that you can do anything. Well, right now you can't lift 1,000 pounds, right? And that's an extreme example. But making yourself believe that is only beneficial. So try to trick yourself into thinking I have self-esteem, or just pretend. You don't have to trick yourself. Just make believe, whatever, right? Say, okay, I have the highest self-esteem ever. This is what I'm going to do. And the more you pretend, like, you know how actors, some will say, I got lost in the character. That's a real thing. The more you pretend to be somebody, the more you act like somebody, the more you become them. Use delusion, use, pretending to your advantage. Because when you pretend to have a good mindset, when you pretend to, not pretend, but delude yourself into thinking you have these good mindsets, it eventually becomes true. For example, if you are trying to delude yourself into thinking you're confident and you're like, I'm super confident, I'm going to go present first, and you actually go out and do that, like I've done that before. It actually helps a lot, bro. So delude yourself only at the good things, though. Don't like delude yourself into bad things, because that's a whole mess. I'm editing this video right now, and I just wanted to add something real quick. So here's kind of how I think of delusion, right? Because I say in other videos, be realistic, but now I'm saying be delusional. So it's like, is that counterintuitive? Is that, or not counterintuitive, but are they going against each other? Here's how I think of it. I'm delusional when it's to my benefit. I'm realistic when it's to my benefit, right? I can kind of, at least that's how my mind works. I can delude myself into thinking positive things while keeping myself grounded in certain aspects. So like, I'm not going to say, oh, I can lead this Fortune 500 company right now. Like I'm realistic, right? With my goals, I'm realistic. I can't get 100 billion subscribers or 100 million subscribers in the next year. It's important to be realistic when it's helpful, but it's also important to dream. It's also important to be delusional at times, because they both can help you just in different ways. So it's good to have a bit of both. I don't know if you understand that or not. I hope you do. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, that's all I got, man. I mean, remember that the fact that you're even here is a reason to trust yourself, and do the actions that will gain more trust for yourself. If you'd like to learn how to be saved, I have a video on the left side of the screen. If you'd like to learn how to start self-improvement, just like broader than this, then video on the right. Thank you for watching, and praise God.